Good evening, ladies and mushroom tips. Back again. I know I just posted yesterday, but you know, this is a good hobby of mine. It is a passion I have. Now, yesterday I had posted a video, and somebody had responded. It was Outwars One asked me if I was tired of seeing the fake videos and watching a bunch of fakes. Well, no, no. I never get tired of watching paranormal videos. I get sick of seeing fakes, and there are more fakes than real videos, and it really just it destroys the community. The community is out here. We're literally trying to show the world that paranormal events happen. The paranormal is real, and then there are these people that fake videos just for likes and shares, and they're just really out here trying their best to basically muddy the waters. The more fake videos that you see out there, the more people go, well, it's fake. You know, I saw this video once and it was totally fake. It's like, yes, that video was fake, but there's other videos that are real. I don't get tired of seeing the videos. I get sick of them. And it's not really that I'm watching them that it makes me sick. What makes me sick is the fact that somebody took an entire day out of their lives to create something fake, and then they spend the rest of their life, literally the rest of their life, trying to convince people that it was real. I mean, you're basically telling the world the sky is green, and I have a video of it being green, and then spending your entire life trying to convince people that the blue they see is not the blue they see, but it's green, and they don't know what the color blue is. It really is annoying. It makes you sick because, oh, dogs have 4 legs. No, they don't. Dogs have 11 legs. I've got video of dogs everywhere having 11 legs. Okay, but here's a dog. It's here. I can show you. You can see it. Oh well, you're just wrong. No, that's not how it works. But here we have this video here. This is from Chilling Scares, and it is 6 most disturbing camping encounters caught on camera. Now, I don't know if this is going to be ghosts or if it's going to be like people hiding in the woods. So this is going to be a fun one for all of us. Let's see how he goes.
In April 2019, a YouTuber named Jason uploaded a video to his channel, Appy Mountain Trekkers, in which he recorded footage of his solo overnight trip to the mountains. His channel is dedicated...
Yeah, Appy is a short for Appalachian. So again, like yesterday, we've got more Appalachian Mountain videos.
To all things outdoors, in which Jason frequently uploads videos of his adventures hiking, camping, and surviving in the woods. In this particular video, his hike up to the mountain is pretty uneventful, and as soon as he arrives at the campsite, Jason begins setting up his tent and shows his viewers how he starts a fire as the sun begins to set. As he waits for the day to end, he tries his luck at spoon carving, and this is when he reports hearing a strange sound coming from the top of one of the mountains, but he writes it off as a bird or some other small animal and continues setting up for the night. At about 9 o'clock, he turns his camera off to go to bed, but less than an hour later, he wakes up to a strange sound that he says he's never heard before in his life. He mentions it sounded like some sort of guttural animal call, but because it came from pretty far away, he couldn't identify what it was.
I'm still rattled. I've never heard anything like that in my life. It sounded like a mix between almost like a pig, some kind of, I hate to even say it, but a pig, an ape, and the calls almost sounded like how the velociraptors communicate with each other on Jurassic Park. I've never heard anything like that in my life.
Which Jurassic Park? Because they change how they communicate from the first movie to the third movie, all the way to the last one with what is that? The giant velociraptor.
Still shaken after the rude awakening, he tries to go back to bed, but just a few hours later at around 1 a.m., he wakes up again to what he describes as the sound of something or someone circling his tent.
Whatever it is, it's close. Hear that? Whatever it is, it sounded like there was 2 or 3 of them, and it started on the other side of my camp, went around my perimeter.
If you look closely at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the reflection of what appears to be 1 or 2 sets of eyes as he pans his flashlight over them.
That's his fire, dumbass. That's where his fire is. You can see his tent, or lean-to, because this isn't an actual tent. He's anybody who's into survivalism and, you know, backpacking and stuff, what he built is a lean-to, not a tent. It's just basically a bunch of stuff leaning, and then his stuff's underneath it, and then the fire is reflected off of that onto him, and it keeps the fire in there. That isn't eyes. This is the flickering of his fire pit, and you can see it reflecting off of stuff over here. It is not eyes.
Although there are many animals with eyes that reflect
Yeah, you can see it's the fire flickering.
light at night, based on the fiery white color of the reflection, it's very likely that Jason was being observed by wolves or coyotes. Dog's eyes will also give off a white reflection, but considering that it was around 1 a.m. when this happened, it's unlikely that a dog would be walking around in the mountains so close to his campsite. Coyote and wolf attacks on humans are
Yeah, as somebody who has several acres of land, and I deal with wild animals all the time up there, it doesn't matter if you're there all the time or if you're just visiting. These animals will circle. They will investigate. I mean, hell, when I had my tent set up, I had cattle, full-blown cattle, walk through my camp, sniff all up on my tent, trample over a few things, and then carry on down the way. I mean, it's all free-range cattle up there, so that they just eat whatever and carry on. But the guy who's doing this video, he doesn't understand that, you know, what animals will do and won't do. And it's also insulting that he's trying to pass off the flicker of flame as eyes.
rare, as both species tend to avoid human contact, but they can still become very aggressive if they feel threatened, especially if they have pups nearby. If this were the case, Jason would be in grave danger, but chillingly he doesn't even seem to notice the eyes watching him as he scans the area with his flashlight. Luckily, he went back to his tent and slept safely through the night. When he woke up the next morning, he recorded another update for his viewers, but he never mentioned the eyes that his camera had captured the night before, suggesting he might have never noticed. After this video, there were no additional updates on the incident. In 2021, YouTuber Matt Fields spent the night in a dark cave in the middle of nowhere in Australia after his friend told him about an unsettling experience he had in that cave and dared him to spend the night there alone. Matt's channel is a bit more extreme than other outdoor exploration channels, and his videos often feature him leaving civilization behind and going to remote locations for days, living only off the fish he catches and the animals he hunts. In the video, he mentions that he didn't bring any water to the trip, hoping to find water to drink in the cave. After about 4 hours of walking, he finally finds the cave and climbs down the man-made ladder inside. Venturing deeper inside the cave, Matt crawls into the different holes he finds to see if any of them lead anywhere. Around this time, he started hearing a couple of rocks falling near the entrance and the sound of some sort of animal walking around. At one point in the video, he mentions he feels like he's being watched, and things get a little more disturbing at around 11 p.m. when he begins to eat his baked beans for dinner.
That is beautiful. Baked beans in a haunted cave. Oh my God. That was the sound. That is the sound. Did you hear that? Look at my arms. I got full goosebumps. It's the chains moving when I climb down the ladder. It's a big, heavy, thick chain. Wind can't move that.
Wind can move it, and more than likely it is an animal. But again, like, he's in a cave. You can see that there's animal tracks in there. You can see that people do venture out there. But, wind can't move chains. You know, I've been to the harbors in like San Francisco and out in Texas, and I see chains, like anchor chains that big around, swinging in the wind because they have a lot of surface area. And, you know, even in the cave, because it is a directed, funneled wind, the chains will move.
When Matt recorded this video, it wasn't a windy night at all, and the fact that the chain is moving can only mean that there's someone or something down there with him.
That chain moved just then. It is 100% now. I heard it before. I'm 100% certain it's the chain that I walked in, that you climbed down into this cave on. It's moving. Now, you can't move that chain with wind. It's way too heavy. There is no wind coming in here. There's no wind even forecast. Holy.
Yeah, that's somebody shaking it.
Oh my God. Look, you must have heard that just then. Look at my arms, dude. Oh, this is fucked. Okay. Well, I've got my backpack back on, and I'm booting on out of here. I just heard a sound. It's not normal. It's definitely not a normal sound, and I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably about 2 hours, 2.5 hours after I checked in with you guys, so it would be around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and that sound was not normal. I'm getting out of here.
After the creepy noises subside, he changes his mind about leaving the cave and decides to spend the rest of the night near the entrance. A couple of hours later, he reported hearing hissing sounds that sounded like human voices, but after walking around the cave, he couldn't find anything that could be making those noises. Aside from big animals, the worst thing that could have happened to Matt is to have come across a hostile squatter living in the cave, although it's unclear why anyone would want to live down there. Fortunately, he made his way out of the cave safely as soon as the sun rose, and never went back to that cave again.
Wasn't really spooky. I mean, he heard some stuff and chains were moving, and then the smacking sound was somebody smacking something against something, and then all of a sudden they're violently shaking the chains. So I'm just gonna say somebody, if he truly did get told by somebody to go out there, that person probably coaxed him to come out there, and then they knew when he was going to be out there, or they watched for it, recognized him, and then went out to fuck with him. That is the most logical point of view.
Roadie is a channel dedicated to off-the-grid living, in which the uploader usually posts videos about what life is like living out of his truck and traveling around the country. The videos are usually pretty cool, with an emphasis on the beauty of nature and independent living. But this particular video is a bit more disturbing than the rest. In December 2017, Roadie uploaded footage of an incident that took place earlier that year while he was car camping in a parking lot. At around 1:30 a.m., a hooded man started walking around his truck and taking pictures of his license plates. Because the back of the truck where the uploader was sleeping was pretty much pitch black, the man probably didn't see anyone in there and continued to suspiciously walk around the truck for several minutes, unaware that he was being recorded. After a while, the man makes his way to the side of the truck and tries to shine the flashlight inside, which is when the uploader decides to take action to protect himself and let the man know he's there. Immediately after the uploader bangs his fist on the inside of the truck, the suspicious man runs away. It's unclear what exactly he planned to do, but based on his behavior, it couldn't have been anything good, and he was probably planning a carjacking. Fortunately, the uploader was able to get away safely and spend the night elsewhere. Gary and Amica.
So, that was junk. More than likely, he just had a friend walk around and make it look scary. Oh, act like you're doing something, and then I'll scare you off. It wasn't disturbing at all.
Are a father-daughter duo from Scotland who make videos about their travels around Europe in their camper van. The videos are usually pretty wholesome and entertaining, but in this particular video, Gary and Amica had a pretty disturbing encounter. This footage was uploaded in March of 2023 during a trip to Tensmuir Forest in North Fife, Scotland. As they were walking through the woods, Amica told her dad she heard voices somewhere near them, and after searching for a while, this is what they found.
We just stopped and had a look in these woods. Look at how scary that is. Put the torch on. Here's even one on the ladders.
Oh, there's someone lying on the ground. Without
Falling
any
over. Look at the one on the ladders going up the tree.
legs. Oh, yeah, that's
What about the washing line over there to the left? Yeah, there. Keep it there. That is weird, isn't it?
See, now that's creepy. That is disturbing. This is a good video. Good content.
there. That isn't actually a person. There's a doggy there.
In addition to dozens of creepy mannequins dressed up in costumes, they came across some pretty unsettling paintings hanging outside the little cabin in the middle of the woods. I did some research and found several other channels that featured the strange cabin, but the only information I could find was that the mannequins and paintings were probably set up there at some point in 2021.
Yeah, the Seavid Hotel. And it is an exotic hotel, so basically what they did was they painted a bunch of prostitutes on the walls, and there's a bunch of butts and a bunch of mannequins. So and that's a horse's head. I mean, he's got the nose and everything. That's the barn. So yeah, I mean, it's a creepy place. I mean, I don't trust mannequins. I really don't. They're just creepy. They just creep me the hell out. There's so many movies, horror movies, where the mannequins come to life and wander around, and
It's unknown what exactly the purpose of all this is, but whoever set it up clearly went through a lot of trouble to make it as creepy as possible. As Gary and Amica make their way out of the woods, a car starts to approach them from the other side, and Gary starts to get a little freaked out. Fortunately, they were able to make it back to the van without having to cross the car's path. As of this video's upload, there have been no further updates on the creepy discovery.
well, if other people have posted about it, then those would be the updates. It's just a creepy place.
In 2018, a YouTuber named John uploaded this video to his channel Lost Lakes, in which he posts about his backcountry camping adventures in Canada. The video was taken at around 3:30 a.m. at a remote location west of Chapleau, Ontario, where, according to John, there was no cell phone signal.
Well, I am living every solo camper's nightmare right now. There appears to be an animal of some kind pacing around my tent. It's the middle of the night, and then around 3:30, I started to hear this pacing sound, and 45 minutes later, it's still just pacing around out there.
Considering he was camping in a remote location in the black bear capital of the world, it's very likely that there was a bear or some other large animal outside the tent. Although it's rare for bears to attack campers, it has been known to happen. Other animals such as moose or wildcats can also pose a threat to campers if they ever feel threatened or provoked, and in those cases, a feeble camping tent won't offer a lot of protection against an angry 600-pound animal. It's much more common for people to be harassed by other people than by animals, but in this case, the footsteps don't sound very human. To maintain sanity, John shows his viewers the things he brought along on his camping trip to protect himself against animals, which include a hatchet, bear spray, and an air horn. Near the end of the video, he mentions his car is right outside the tent.
You know, stop camping in areas where there's, carnivorous, omnivore-ish, big animals without some type of protection. I've seen so many videos of people going out into the woods, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go camp in the woods over here. I brought a sharp stick, a pocket knife, and a banana. Dude. This is what I carry to go check my mail. I mean, you have to be prepared at all times. You know your surroundings. You know that you're going to go someplace. At least have the common sense to bring something for protection other than spray and a hatchet and an air horn. Air horn is just loud noise. That's all it is. Bear spray, you've got maybe 7 seconds of spray, and all it is a deterrent. That's all it is. And then you have a hatchet that is just as big. It's as big as this remote. I mean, you literally have to be right there, touching whatever it is. Bring a spear. Bring a firearm. Bring a long gun. I mean, hell, even a single shot 12 gauge is more than adequate in an emergency.
But he can't find his key and probably left it in the car. But in the end, he slept through the night safely. He never found out what exactly was walking around his tent that night. Most campers will say they're more afraid of running into ill-intentioned people rather than aggressive animals on their camping trips, and this footage is the perfect example of why. Love Sundays is a channel run by a man named Sean who uploads videos of his solo camping adventures in the UK. In a video he uploaded in September 2022, he shows what happened one night when he camped on the side of the road in Cornwall. Technically, he wasn't supposed to be camping there due to parking regulations, so he made every effort possible to make it seem less obvious that he would be spending the night on the side of the road. Before the sun sets, he goes into his van and starts making dinner, making as little noise as possible to avoid unwanted attention. At around 9 p.m., he turns off the lights and goes to bed. Everything seems to be going just fine, but at around 2 a.m., Sean's night takes a pretty unsettling turn.
I just heard something outside. Okay, I think they've gone. They literally tried to get in the van. It wasn't just a knocking, they were trying the handle.
It's not uncommon for solo campers to be asked to move somewhere else in the middle of the night, especially when you're parked somewhere where you're not supposed to be. But in this case, it's highly unlikely that this was a police officer or some other person with the authority to tell him to move, as in these cases, they would almost always knock first and announce themselves verbally. Once they have your attention, they'll ask you to leave, but they won't just walk up to a van on the side of the road and start trying the door handle without announcing their intentions. It's much more likely that someone was trying to break into Sean's van. Luckily, whoever was trying to break in left after only a few seconds, and Sean wasn't bothered by them again. These kinds of encounters can be extremely disturbing, but luckily Sean woke up the next morning unharmed and was on his way to his next destination shortly after.
Yeah, that wasn't really disturbing, as more of poorly planned. I mean, he parked on the side of a road, which is the main road. It's a busy road. He parked further away from other vehicles on the road to give that buffer zone, but he made his van a target. People see vans and go, there's stuff inside vans, more stuff can be in a van than other stuff. This is clearly a traveler. They have things that I might want. He made himself a target. They targeted him. Luckily, he had locked doors and the person couldn't get in. I mean, turning on a bright blasting light and then going, you really don't need that much light, especially because phones like mine, or a lot of them, if you open up the app, the phone app, and then you tap it like this, and then you hold it, it goes to a small. But if I bring it down here, I can open up a second app. So I have my phone on for the camera, but I have a white screen from another thing, and that lights my face. But I'm not blasting a big huge spotlight inside of a vehicle. I mean, it is a dual split screen, but I can still record video in the split screen and use the other app as a backlight or a light to shine on my face so I can actually see what I'm recording. He didn't do that. He turned on a big, huge spotlight on his face, lighting up the whole inside of the van. Even though the van doors were closed and he had a curtain up, light still escapes the outer edges of doors very easily. If there's a crack and a crevice, light will make its way through. They knew he was in there. And in the UK, people do get jumped in vehicles. Whoever was there watched him all day, hanging out in the van, outside the van, stepping out, walking around, going back in the van. They saw him, they watched him, they made sure. And they jumped at the opportunity. They were more than likely trying to rob him. Disturbing? No. Stupid? Yes. You gotta plan these things out better. So, that's not really paranormal. Not at all. So, but, there you go. And that's my take.